Put the motherfucking money in my motherfucking hand. I got dollars. I got this. I got that. Ah. God damn, that's a good cookie. Well, my morning has been made. I just handed this girl. Oh my god, I freaking like her. I freaking like her. She's so nice. She's just like, first of all, last night, comes in, super sweet, super kind, and she's like asking my love how he's doing. She's like, no, how are you really doing? And how could we check in on you? And what does that look like for you? What's your preference? Like, do you prefer a call or a text? And just like really had a minute of just like presence and just like, how is it going? And I was like, oh my god, I fucking adore you, and I thank you so much for being like that, because it's nice when people ask you how you're fucking doing and listen, and they want to know, and they want to know to be there for you and say, I want to love you. How do I love you the best? Oh, so that was cool. Oh my god, that coffee is so fucking good. That was really, really sick. And then she looks at me and she's like, how are you doing through all this? And I'm like, wow, that's nice for somebody to ask me, because it doesn't seem like it's directly happening to me, but it is such a large part of my life right now. And it's hard. And it was just like, you don't really get that very often, that realness, and I really, really like that. And then this morning, I am like, oh, hey, you know, and she's talking to me, and she's like, so I wanted to ask you this, because, like, when you came to our wedding party, like, you had this, and in my head, I'm already finishing her sentence for her. I'm gonna say, you had this shy energy to you, and now it seems like you don't as much, and it's really, like, interesting, like, what happened? No, this girl's like, you had this energy to you that was, like, all-encompassing, and it was, like, a light. Like, I mean, this might be cheesy to say, but it felt like an angel was dropped down in the room, and it was with us, and that was you. And I just was so curious, like, have you always been like this, or is this something that's, like, how did you get like this? And I'm like, I don't know, I guess I haven't always been like this. Like, I feel like as a child, like, I had a hard childhood. I had a really hard time with my parents, and it's still, like, I haven't been able to get them to really be in love with me yet. Or still. And I feel like I was really caved in, like I was really not myself until I left, and I started realizing, like, hey, I have literally no one. I have to be there for myself, because otherwise I won't even have anybody. And I started, like, I guess, learning how to love myself and learning how to like myself, and therefore loving, like, if I love myself, like, I'll love the world. And I feel like a lot of people, like, it's hard for them to see other people, it's hard for them to see themselves, and so I would guess, like, that's what it is like, when I'm with people, like, I look at them and I let them be seen, and it's vulnerable, but it's also really beautiful. And I just kind of, I don't know, like, I just started, like, accepting all of me. And she was like, well, that's really cool. And she's, like, picking out the different pieces of art that I have around the house. And she's like, there's this one that you have in the bathroom, and it's like typewriter font and it says "We Are Human." And I'm like, yeah, I'm a little whore for a typewriter. Like, I love a typewriter. And I just thought about doing that one day. I just finger painted that, and then I was like, oh, what if I just put that on there? And so I did. And recently, actually yesterday, it's funny because I had this idea pop into my head that was like, why don't you make more of these? Why don't you write things like "You are loved" or "I love you"? Why don't you do that? And there was this connection that happened, I feel like, when she said that I was like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, I really want to do it on pottery. Like, I really want to have like these like nice messages on my pottery to like have as your mug. Like, I looked at the world as if it was just colors and I saw beauty everywhere. Like, that is a cool ass quote. And I learned that from Vincent van Gogh. I learned that from this book I was reading that he didn't write a book, but somebody put together the letters that he wrote and it became a book that was written by him. And he struggled. He struggled really hard. And I just feel for him, but I also I think it's really fucking cool because I see the struggle, but I also see the success. And I can see those dually. Like, it gives me inspiration. It makes me feel like, okay, it's okay that I struggle sometimes. It's okay that it's not easy. It's okay that I feel what he always said was the melancholy. The melancholy was okay. You got through it. It sucked, but it was almost like the key that made the transformation. And I haven't read a lot from any other artist. Like, I admire him probably the most, and it's probably because I don't know very many. But he also is fucking cool and amazing and human. And I think that's probably the most beautiful part about him, is that he's human. So I went into the room and I grabbed this little book that I had written, and I don't know how full it is. I don't know if it's only a few pages or if it's the whole thing, because I haven't looked at it in years, but I hang it on my wall normally. And the front pages, I started to look at everything as if it was just colors, and I saw beauty everywhere. And so I just handed that over to this lady. And I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I'm not sure, like, nothing really will happen. It will just be a shared experience, I guess. And that itself is pretty cool. This morning was such a beautiful experience. Like, I feel so seen and I feel so loved, and her seeing me makes me feel like I can see me. Like, I'm like, oh man, you're right. You're right. And when I was younger, I took acid. It came to me, I took it, and I became transformed in my very own way. I was with a very close person to me at the time. They sat with me and they said, Callie, I have never seen you so zen. I've never seen you like this. And I remember walking around going, yeah, with this peace and presence and just calmness to me. That was like, it's all okay. And what did I learn from that? I learned that the only thing that's real, the only thing that matters is how we feel and how we make other people feel. And I think I need to get that tattooed on me because I never want to forget that. I never want that to slip my mind. I want that to be an ever-present message in my life. And when I learned that, I feel like I changed. I feel like I actually like came down to earth, and I was a shell of myself before. I'd say that's really accurate. I was a shell of myself before, and I've had a family member who I grew up with tell me that. They said, I didn't know you until you left. And this was all around the same time. I didn't know you. And we grew up next to each other. I wouldn't let anybody know me. And once I started letting her know me, I got this, I don't know, I started to get to know her. And it was like, there were so many barricades that I had put up, and like this experience of just like, listen, to validate myself is to validate others. To validate others is to validate myself. And there was another time, about 2 years later, when I had used acid again. And I didn't feel like I really experienced much in that time. I was by myself, and so maybe there was not so much contrast, and I wasn't able to be like with somebody who I really felt like knew me, cared about me, could reflect something to me. I was just by myself. But I remember going and looking in the mirror, and this is something that people say, don't do this when you're on acid. But I did it, and I think that was probably the most impactful thing I could have ever done, was looking in the mirror and seeing myself. And I remember standing in the mirror and looking at myself and saying, you were an angel. And it doesn't mean anything different than anything. I remember knowing that I was an angel, and it still meant that I was human. It just meant that I had different intentions on this earth. I was always an equal. I always will be an equal to every single person on this earth. But the angelic side of me, this part of me that lives, this light that people recognize, this girl today literally told me this, that I feel like I'm an angel in the room. Like, the outside confirmation from people is insane, because I don't feel like it. I don't see it all the time. But I remember looking myself dead in the eyes and saying, like, you are an angel. You have pure, loving intentions. And that is not always how people are in this world. And that is a transformative way to be. It's a transformative way to be, and it was a transformative moment for me in my life, where I just sat in this, like, okay. It was this reassurance and this unwavering love. And today when I told this lady, she's like telling me these things, and I'm like, I don't know, like, when I started loving myself, I started trying to learn how to like unconditionally love myself and therefore the world. And she was like, okay. And I just knew that to be so fucking true. Like, without condition, I will love you. Without condition, I will love you. And I think that that's the only thing that means, is like, that comes across as like angelic. That comes across as an angel. And I feel very, very vulnerable right now saying that. I feel vulnerable of the perception of that. There's in the back of my mind something that's like, you're an angel. Wow, you're so good. But that's not what this means. I am a human. I have flaws. I have demons. And I fight with them, I walk them, I dance with them, I put them on leashes, I look at them, I name them. I have them. But I also have this practice of deep, deep unconditional love. And when I get back to my roots, when I see who I really am and I'm practicing being who I am without fear, when I'm just in love, which I strive to be, and it's so hard. It's so hard to just be love, because fear wants to come in and take over. And I feel it in my body. It's so, so human. And I react to things when I'm in fear and I'm scared. But I know, and she's just reminded me of the deepest seated thing that I have is the love. That I am love. And I believe that. And I am loved. And I believe that. And I've felt that deeply from the world, from God, from the universe. I've felt it in such a deep way multiple times throughout my life. Like, I know it's there, but how easy it is to misinterpret, to forget, and to misunderstand. And how easy it is to think, I need the world to be X, Y, Z. And then it isn't. And the frustration. And even though that all comes and goes, there's still such a strong message and meaning behind surrendering and going with what is and loving what is for what it is, and without any expectation or premise that it needs to follow. And that's, I think, where the unconditionality comes from. That may be a word I made up, but I think it fits pretty well. I think there is beauty in everything. And when I look at it all as if it's just colors without any prior judgment, without any prior knowledge, when I look at a field of weeds and I don't think about them being noxious, when I don't think about them being obnoxious, when I don't think about my preference on whether I want weeds in this field or not, I just see the color yellow. I see a lot of yellow, and I just see the color green, and I see it blended together effortlessly, and it's gorgeous. And that's what I mean when you look at the world as if it's just colors. It's you just don't put your judgment into it. You just see it as it is. And maybe that's what it means to let other people feel seen. Like, I don't put my judgment, I don't put my expectation. And it's hard. But it's something that I would work for over and over again. It's something I will work for over and over again, because truly, when I am doing that for myself, I'm living in that world. And it might just be all in my own head. I might be just living in Callie's world. But I bring Callie's world everywhere I go. And I don't have to believe in what is. I don't have to believe in the society that we live in, that we don't just love each other unconditionally. I can change it by changing my world and bringing others into my world. And that's powerful. I feel empowered again. I feel full. I feel seen. I feel loved. I feel precious.